I'm Sky Houston. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Before I get to start giving your dossier and your script, let's start this off by you telling the audience, who are you? Who are you? Introduce yourself in your words.
Absolutely. What's up, everybody? My name is Christopher Joseph Gallant III. I write songs. I sing songs. Blessed to be here in Houston today. New album just came out, Sweet Insomnia. It's my second album. My first one was in 2016 called Ology. And had the pleasure of being able to meet a bunch of audiences, travel around the world, and connect with a group of people that I didn't really think that I would ever get to meet until I wrote songs, put them online, and then other people had the same point of view that I had.
Okay, you did way better than I thought you would. You just ran through pretty much everything that you kind of like summarized or put it all in one, but let's dig into that a little deeper if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah, of course.
You hail from
I'm from Columbia, Maryland, so DMV, but the suburbs. Went up to New York, went to college there at NYU. Didn't really work out for me. I was, not the happiest person over there. I got a McFlurry one day, went to the Subway, and then the wind blew all the dirt into the McFlurry, and I was like, all right, I got to
Oreo
leave.
cookie.
Yeah, it was an Oreo McFlurry, too. So I was like, all right, there has to be a better way of life than this. Moved over to LA.
Wait, you took revelation out of dirt getting your ice cream?
It was the straw, and my back was hurting, so that was it. And
a lot of things happening.
It was a lot, yeah. So I was like, all right, better way to live. Moved out to LA. Just went up into the valley. I was finishing up an EP at the time. Was about to apply to Starbucks. Was sleeping on a mattress. Starbucks didn't call me back, so I had to call them. Then they were like, yeah, we'll get to you. And then Spotify at the time had just come over from Europe, and so I just started seeing checks from Spotify. Got to pay my rent slowly. Then
Spotify paid your rent then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nice. I think Spotify pays pretty all right.
Okay.
So labels that chop that up a little bit too much. But I was working on my debut album at the time too, and then put out a single called Weight in Gold in 2015.
Absolutely.
And then it started kind of brewing, stewing, and I put out my actual album in 2016, and got to do a bunch of things that I before that could only dream about.
Yes. So he's so good. Like, I don't think most talent or artists are able to really wrap themselves up, but that just speaks to what I know of you with really trying to find yourself and hone in on who you are. Because you have gone through times and trials of trying to figure yourself out, you're able to tell us exactly who you are. So I love that. I love the fact that you deep, man. You're a thinker. And it was funny because your name is Gallant. I'm sure people butcher that all the time and call you Gallant or something like that. But do you know what the word gallant means?
Yeah, it's it's like you're
gallant, rather. Let me say.
Right, yeah. If you're gallant, you're like chivalrous. You're a little Lothario, a little bit. Go with the ladies, etc.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's my real last name. It's funny. My family is split up, so a section of them pronounces it Gallant. My dad one day was like, "Oh, let me make it Gallant because
fancy."
Yeah, it's like fancier. He wanted to get some jobs when he was a young adult. So then all of a sudden, I'm Gallant.
And the reason why I asked that is because part of that, you mentioned the ladies. Part of that is really understanding, being able to dive into the science of the way someone thinks or what women feel or think. And I think your music, it does that. Like, you don't just talk about the surface things. You dive deep into the understanding of why this person, well, first, how you're making me feel. I'm clear about that. And I don't think most men are able to be expressive or really understand themselves and the effects of the things around them to be able to put it in the music. So when I say you're deep, I'm saying you've taken some time to think and feel. So,
oh, thank you.
I really appreciate that about your music.
Oh, thank you very much.
You think
and
you
it's
do?
true. Yeah, we're all equal. So you gotta have mutual respect.
Are you in a relationship right now?
I am right now. Yeah.
Now, do you have relationships like for the sake of the feel? Like, are you really into the relationships when you're there, or in the back of your mind, are you using them as more research for life?
That's
Why
crazy.
you laughing over there?
That's a crazy way to put. I mean, it's kind of both. It's like, I respect everything she does as like a human being, you know. So it's the surface thing is there for sure, but you know, it's like it's got to be a deep connection, you know. And I feel like if you're not used to that kind of thing, or you're used to, you know, having something different every weekend, you know, to transition into that is jarring, and you in the back of your head might think, okay, this is a test for me, but it's got to start in a real place, you know.
Yeah. Are you a relationship guy?
I'm not, but you know, when it's right, then it's right, you know.
And I asked that because music is it's art, but it's you can get most of the geniuses of anything art. They don't really do well with being confined. So when I say that, just if you judge, I hate the word judge, but if you can judge you by your music, it's hard for you to be contained because you're not always understood. So how do you be totally in a relationship for longer than 6 months, a year, knowing your nature? Because I'm pretty sure you know yourself by now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, like I think, you know, some are like a rubber ball and some are like a glass ball. You know, it's like if you can take a couple bounces, then you know you're good, and if you get one crack after one bounce and then it eventually shatters, and you know you got to find something else.
Do you stay in it? Like, are you the one who normally ends the relationships, or do you wait for something that happens where she? What's your track record, bro? Are you always the one getting in trouble in the relationships, or
yeah,
are you ending them?
I can be pretty difficult. Like I can be pretty hot and cold for sure. So that's got me in trouble. I think most of the time I just get bored, you know, and I'm just
that's
like,
the word I was looking for.
Yeah, you know, or you just feel you have like an image of yourself, and you just feel like, you know, it's hard not to focus a little bit too much on yourself, you know, especially when you're in something that's not right. So that definitely makes it easier. I think right now, you know, I'm on tour. Album just came out. The album is about kind of the bittersweetness of everything, you know, including relationships and how tough that can be. So, you know, I think it's been essential to the process, and nothing's really tested my relationship thus far.
Amen. Yeah. I think I really like with Sweet Insomnia how you said you wanted to go back to the 80s and 90s feel, how it made you feel, like how it made you react. And I was actually listening to a song and I started feeling something, and I don't like to feel. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to feel. Like, I don't have time to do that. I got too much to execute to be worried about how my emotions are, or thinking about what I'm doing to this other person, or what the expectations they have of me. I think people are always talking about, I want the music back from the 90s, but in essence what they're saying now is that we miss that element in the music that's being created.
That's true, yeah.
In that sense, I think I always ask people, what do you feel music today is missing? But I think you're giving that answer with the body of work you just put out.
Oh, thank you. I think R&B is in a great space right now. You know, I feel like, you know, you have a lot of different cats like saying exactly what they want to say in a multitude of different ways, you know. So in 2019 and 2020, we celebrate everyone's uniqueness too, including in the genre of R&B. So it's just been great to see.
Do you think it's a space for you? Well, you just said that it's in a good space, but where do you feel, what do you have, what expectations do you have for your career with people embracing you? Where do you want to see yourself?
Well, you know, I like a lot of different things. So, you know, when my first EP was mostly ambient music. My second EP was, you know, like a mixture of like alternative stuff, and, you know, just things that didn't necessarily fit together. And I was just kind of trusting that somebody would hear it and think that it was, you know,
worthy.
Like worthy of being listened to or existing or something. So, you know, I definitely want to be able to like look back and see a bunch of different albums that are uncompromised, that represent, you know, maybe like a chronological story of, you know, where all my different visions fall, and, you know, what all the different sounds that I'm inspired by and have been inspired by, you know, since birth.
I honestly don't. Most people, I've been in radio for a while. I've worked on the entertainment side. I know a lot of artists, and I feel like it's a vocation for them. This is what I do. I've always loved music, but with you, I get this is a higher thing for me. This is purpose for me. Like, I don't think you're concerned. Or you tell me, are you concerned about getting the accolades with the awards? Yeah, I was nominated for a Grammy or this or that. Yes, I've worked with the Seal or Elton John loves my voice. But does that do anything for you?
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid that, I didn't really talk to anybody. A lot of people, I was really quiet. Like the kid at the barbecue who is drawing something with a crayon and maybe it's like, out of a horror movie or something. Like, you never know.
Gothic.
But
scary. Stay away from that kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's wrong with that kid? But no, I mean, I was always just used to doing things by myself and for myself. So, I never really got a lot of praise, growing up, or definitely not in like a communal
You weren't the cool
way.
kid.
Yeah, not in that sense. So, when the Grammy thing came about, like I was on tour for my album with my band, and we were really not feeling it. Like it was just
the tour itself.
We were touring it for a little bit too long, because we started in like 2015. Then we were touring while the album came out, and then after the album came out. So at the end of the year, it just became kind of like, what are we doing? The audiences we were in like Europe at the time. Audiences were kind of like getting smaller and smaller, and it just wasn't like a good feeling. And so to get that kind of boost of like, hey, what everything that you've done is worth you being on the road right now, and people are feeling it. When really I just wanted to go back home and make some more music. It did mean something. Winning the award I don't think really means that much, but just to be acknowledged and to be like, hey, this person exists. I mean, that's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do something really quickly. Just get more insight on you. Like when you're not in the music, when you're not on tour, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color? Oh man. Maybe like a brown.
Don't think so hard. I don't want you to think hard on these.
No, I was thinking about it the other day, but like whatever this color is. So this is like what, like a
hazelnut.
Brown hazelnut, yeah, hazelnut.
Hazelnut. All right.
Coffee.
What animal are you?
I'm a bird.
Okay,
I'm like a giant, like an owl that just flies, around and just perches up.
We don't just see owls flying. We don't see owls.
Yeah, they're sleeping. Okay, maybe like an eagle. I'm like an eagle that's just like.
I like that because it takes you higher.
Yeah,
and I think your spirit is higher.
Oh, thank you.
Food.
Ooh, sushi.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite scent.
Raw fish. Favorite scent.
You better not say gasoline. Favorite scent.
Oh man, maybe like a shoebox.
What?
Inside of a shoebox.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Go get me that box, Leon. Somebody just had a brand new pair of shoes. Let me see what this smells like. Favorite show?
Oh man, Steven Universe on Cartoon Network.
Okay, I knew you were going to have a cartoon. Something said it was going to be a cartoon. Favorite sound?
Oh man, favorite sound. I mean, honestly, the way that you're speaking very softly right now, I feel like like a very soft female voice.
I'll take that.
It's really good. It's like a soothing,
nice,
comforting sound.
Favorite place you visited?
Oh man,
now you really got me talking. Favorite place that you have visited?
I gotta say, like Seoul, Korea.
Nice.
I've been there a bunch, and that feels like a weird version of home.
Okay, I feel like you're being predictable because in my mind I saw Asia for you. So
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I even got the little whatever this is.
Yep.
This looks like Asian inspired.
I guess you are who you are.
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful thing when you are who you are and you know your identity, you exude that. So you know how they always say, well, I hear what comes from the heart reaches the heart. So it's not hard for me to feel you because you're you. You stand flat-footed in you.
Absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing.
I totally agree.
All right. Well, tell the people out there where to find you and anything else you'd like for them to do for you.
Of course. Well, you can find me online at So Gallant. SOGALLANT.
So Gallant.
Yeah, across the board. My new album, Sweet Insomnia, is out. Take a listen to it and let me know what you think.
Okay. I'm not going to listen to y'all because it makes me feel something. I don't like to feel. So if you want feels, definitely get the album 100%. Now, you're on tour. Is this House of Blues part of the tour with Sabrina?
Yes. Yeah, so we got 3 dates left. This is one of them. Really excited to be back in Houston. I haven't been here in a long time. So we're at the House of Blues down the street. Yeah. And then we'll see what's next, but hopefully I'll be back soon.
What's one thing you want to happen soon, like a show you want to be on or a stage you want to get on or a person you want to stand next to or have a conversation with? Who is that?
Oh, I mean, with all of them. I mean, I love to have a conversation with Brandy. You know,
yeah,
she's the greatest of all time.
Girl.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Celebrating 25 years this year, B.
Yeah, like I mean, it's insane how much she's done, and I feel like she's humble about it too. Like she doesn't even really. Yeah. She doesn't really know or something.
Real quickly, because now that you mentioned Brandy, it puts me in the mind of something I mentioned on my show last night, and that's forgiveness and allowing yourself to keep living. So do you ever find yourself in a state, and people don't talk about like depression or that when you lose identity, because we hide. And for you, I scoured your stuff. I'm like, I see everything that you put out there, but I feel like the things that we don't see are missing as far as your social media are concerned. But for you, when you find yourself in those dark places, what brings you back? What helps you remember that you do still have purpose?
I think it's different every time. Like when I was kind of first learning how to deal with the depression, I would always just kind of have to force myself to challenge all the negative thoughts with something positive. And eventually that can get a little bit problematic, because you see yourself constantly challenging everything that you do, and so then if you judge yourself too on top of that, then you realize how negative a person you are, and you realize how arbitrary your state of mind really is, because it's so easily manipulated. But I think just like meditation, when you start, it's tough. You feel dumb because you keep thinking about other things and you can't really stop thinking about it.
Can't focus.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a habit. Eventually, you start seeing something that's just like a little bit more balanced, So for me, I try to just remember the times that I've been in the dark place, gotten out of the dark place, and know that it's possible to repeat that.
What makes you smile? What's that one random thing, no matter where you are or what you're doing? If you think about this, you either crack up or at least crack a smile.
Oh man, I mean, I do love some dumb jokes. Like a good fart joke, I'll definitely crack up.
Yeah, you seem like a corny joke guy. Like
exactly.
Dry.
Some dad jokes.
Seinfeld all day.
Exactly. That's what's up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping in with me.
Absolutely.
A pleasure to have you in the studio again. Majic 102.1, Sky Houston in with you with Gallant. How about that? All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.